Sunday, so I'm here by myself today. Yesterday we got as far as ripping the head off, taking the cams out. Today we'll take the conrod bolts off and drop the pistons out and get this block all ready for the machinist to hone it, clean it all up and deck the heads and balance the crank and whatnot. So as I removed the pistons from the block, I noticed the oil rings were the wrong way up and some of the conrod caps were back to front. Pistons out of the block, cranks out. Get this all ready to take up to the engine reconditioners tomorrow. We'll get the bores rebored, we'll get the block redecked, and we'll get the crank balanced, pistons balanced. Here we've got the block down at the engine reconditioners, getting a light hone. We went this way because we're sticking with the factory pistons that came out of it. The idea is to keep the build affordable, have some fun with it, and see how far we can push it. Later on, if we want more power, we can always look at going oversized with forged pistons. But for now, it's about getting it together, enjoying the car, and making the most of what we've got. I'm gonna get into the head. I'm gonna strip it all apart. We're gonna get some new springs to go in, have a look at the ports, see if we can take off some material where we can. That's as wide as we want to go. There, it's perfect. Now I'm just gonna focus on getting this back wall in the same angle. It's perfect. We're tossing these factory main bolts since they're torqued to yield. Once stretched, they can't be reused. Here we're checking the ring gaps on the 1JZ. Just drop the ring in, square it up with the piston, and check it with the feeler gauge. It's a small step, but it makes sure everything's in spec before the motor goes back together. So we're going to pretty much use assembly lube to glue it to the side of these divots facing towards the crank. A little bit on here. Alright, we can drop in the crank. That one? Yeah. Love to see that. Just tap it in.
Tap it in.
Yeah, 6, 7. You just want to go and start from the middle, inside out. It's nice, eh? Here we're checking the crank end plate. Came out at 0.2, which is right within spec. Now we're positioning the piston rings and oil rings, making sure the gaps are spaced out correctly before dropping the pistons in. That's one in, boy. Piston number 1, G. While the engine's apart, I thought it'd be a good idea to inspect the oil pump and check the clearances. So 0.3 is the minimum and 0.6 is the maximum.
and get 0.6 in there. So we're good. We're pulling the release valve out and giving it a good clean. Then we'll coat the valve piston with assembly lube so it's free on startup. Clean up the pump gears and prime the whole pump with assembly lube to get it ready to go. Here we're adding blue Loctite to the backing plate bolt holes to make sure the bolts don't back out under vibration. We then fit the backing plate and torque the bolts to spec. I put sealant on the mating surfaces, then lube the main seal and fit the oil pump onto the block. All the bolts go in finger tight by hand, then I turn the crank over a few times to make sure the pump gears mesh correctly with the crank. After that, everything gets torqued down to spec. That's the oil pump done and dusted, a crucial part of the build.
I think this is my helmet. So when I was over in Vietnam for the bike tour with the boys, I was on Bar Street and we were getting rinsed, having a good time, and some dude was walking around with these Go-Jet, or over there I think it's Grab, with the helmets, the Grab helmets and the Grab jackets as well. He was selling them. But yeah, I got it all pinstriped and here's the finish. Wow, wicked. How cool is that? That is so dope. So I reckon that's gonna be a cool piece for the showroom.
Alright, that's enough storytelling. Let's get back into the build. And there we have it, the bottom end's all buttoned up and ready to flip over. Yeah, buddy, the finish line is getting closer.
Guys, we're up to lapping the valves to the head. Using this JB Weld valve cutting compound. It works itself from a 120 coarse to 220 fine, which is ideal, so you don't have to change over from two cutting compounds. A little dab of that. Bit of engine assembly on the shaft. See that coarse scratch noise?
Quite loud.
Yeah. As you go up, this will, and come back down, this will seat the compound onto the mating surfaces. So every so often we'll go up like that, seat it in there, and then you'll just keep going until the scratch smoothens out and it gets a bit more finer.
You can see here the nice even contact band right around the valve face. That's what you're looking for after lapping. It shows you've got a good seal all the way around. Putting the springs and collets back in now. Curtis jumped in and gave me a hand on this. Way easier with two people instead of trying to fight the compressor on your own.
What's up?
Just put all the keepers in the valve stems and springs. Now we're just going to give it a little hit just to make sure they're all seated nicely.
valves, springs,
Wicked.
and keepers are keeping it tight.
Now we're gonna flip this bad boy over and we're gonna do a leak test.
Almost there, boys. We're gonna test,
You know
see
what?
if he is a
spent
G.
like a good, what, 3 hours, do you reckon, lapping the valves?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right,
It was
just
long
constantly
anyway. I don't know
like
even
this.
if- Got a bit of blue tack here. We're just gonna bung this up a little bit, you know? Put some coolant in here and we're just gonna set it in there. We just got some antifreeze here I had lying around. It's quite ideal because it's pink and you'll see it drip down. Alright guys, it's been 20 minutes. Not a drop of coolant down the chambers. Alright, we'll set it there. We're gonna drop these in before we put the head on it.
So before we torque them up, we're just going to do them up by hand.
For cams, we've gone with a set of Calford D cams. They're a solid upgrade over stock, giving the engine more breathing up top without being too wild for the street.
Should be a nice balance between performance and durability.
We drilled and tapped the new thread, new bolt on the side. This side's not too bad, we just ran the tap through it. About to pull the pin, fire in the hole!
Sheesh, engine's almost together. We just put the timing belt on, and also the hot side just came in the mail, so we can put that on now. First of all, we'll put the rocket covers on, AC, alternator and power steering, belt tensioner and belt back on.
YouTube.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. That bro's always delivering the parts, he's the man, eh?
Yeah, it's my man Cyrus. He's the owner of the Ronin Street.
Alright, so the blow-off valve and wastegate is now here.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass
Blow-off valve in the purple.
How sexy does this Synco manifold look? What a work of art. New Zealand, repping it hard.
The engine is now done and ready to go back in the car. In the next episode, we drop it in, we build the exhaust, we build the intercooler setup, climb up the radiator, and we spark this thing for the first time. I'm pumped as. Yo, thanks for watching. I appreciate you legends. Man, it's hard going to do the work in the background to keep the doors open to the business and to produce this content for you. So if you want this train to keep rolling, you know what to do. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button,
and let us know in the comments what we can improve on or what you guys want to see. Man, I'm hyped to get this thing fired up and get this thing to the track. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Later, boat.